Hello, everyone, and welcome into today's episode of the Maple and Blossom podcast. Once again, I am your co-host Maple, and with me, as always, is Blossom.
Hello, everybody. Blossom here. So, how have you been, Maple?
Busy.
Busy?
Yeah, my basement started flooding, so I've been trying to work that out.
Oh no, that is so bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just a little leak, so
Okay.
I know where it is. It's just trying to fix it. So I've been
Okay.
busy doing that.
Is it fixed or maybe tomorrow?
Not yet, but soon.
Okay. Well, hope it is fixed soon and hope it's not too much for no damage or anything.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's not that bad. So
Okay.
it's okay. How have you been?
Mm, memory.
Yeah. For those of you who don't speak that language, she said tired.
Yes, I'm sleepy, very sleepy. I'm definitely taking a nap after this one.
So let's jump in. So today's episode is number 23, and we are covering the anime Didn't I Say to Make My Abilities Average in the Next Life? So we are carrying on our Isekai month with one that, again, it's another one that surprised me.
This one
There's
really
been a lot of
surprised me.
surprises.
There's
Mm,
sometimes where I'll go and pick an anime and I just scroll through the list of episodes and I just look at the the thumbnails, the
yeah.
pictures, and I'm just like, when I saw them, I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna be a good one, but yeah, it actually ended up being very, very good.
Yeah.
I was very shocked with how much I actually enjoyed this anime. So.
Yeah, same. Once you kind of pointed out the beginning, early stages of your thoughts of especially with their ages. Once it starts going through, I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, that was
We'll
another
see
thing
how
that
this
got
goes.
me, where it's just like, wait, they're 12, 16, 17, and 14, I
Yeah,
think. So
yeah.
it was definitely, yeah, the age, sometimes I'm just like, ooh. And I'm not
Well,
worried about usually if you have younger cast of characters, it's more of an immature anime. And
it is. I was just worried about the fan service because they always
mm,
tend to add unnecessary or too much fan service in those ones, and I was kind of
yeah, and
hoping.
did they really? I think they were just in a bathhouse a few times.
Yeah,
I don't really remember them really doing anything too far
not
with any
really.
of that. So thankfully
No.
that was good. So yeah, let's jump right into episode 1. I'll let you
Yeah.
start.
So episode one, it starts off with kind of the main central character at this point, which is I don't, how do you pronounce it? Mile.
I think it's actually pronounced Mayu,
Okay, Mile
the
it is.
English word. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Mile.
Because I think that's what they
Um,
said in the anime too.
well, they go back and forth because some of them pronounce it as Mile, some of them pronounce it as Mile. So it's
Okay.
like going back and forth. So it's like,
Okay. Well, to keep it easy
I'll
for
say
me,
Mile.
you okay? And for me, I'm just gonna say Mire because it is
Yeah,
just more natural,
I know
easier
it's
for
easy
me.
for you.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
we see her going in, and she's talking with a shopkeeper, or sorry, an inn worker about staying, finding a place to stay. She kind of explains a little bit how she was reincarnated into this world and kind of going a slight backstory into it, but not a whole lot. So she's basically walking around, she's not paying attention, and she ends up bumping into our second character, Mavis, who is a woman who's trying to be a knight. And she's immediately taken aback by her, and she's not exactly sure if she's a male or a female because she does have shorter hair, and she's wearing a knight suit. So as she like dusts herself off, stands up, Mavis basically tells her she's walking away like, I'm actually a girl. And then she keeps going, and she almost turns into this alley, and she's stopped by the next set of character, which is Reina, who basically tells her like, "Look, that's a shady alleyway. Like, you don't actually want to go down there." And it was hilarious because she tells her all this, and she's like, "Oh, thank you," and then she watches as Reina just turns and walks down the alley.
Yeah.
It just starts heading down the alley herself, and she's like, "Did she tell me not to go down there?" So again, she goes back and starts walking through the market this time, and she ends up bumping into Pauline, our next character. Really bumping into
Oh yeah.
her.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She got up and close with her personality. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So then again, we see a little bit more of a backstory how she tried to save a girl and was hit by Truck Coon, and she was
Good
visited
old
by a
Shrakun. Mm-hmm.
and she said she was visited by a god who would reincarnate her into another world. She tells them that she really wants to live a normal life, like just a regular life, give me regular abilities, like just not too much, not too powerful, whatever, right? So, of course, the god messes up what she means by average and puts her in the middle. So, in between the humans of this world, the lowest of the lows, and the Elder Dragon, which is the top.
Yeah. Yeah. So by yeah, because of that, she is literally just essentially like one, if not the most powerful being outside of the dragon.
Yeah.
Because there's like no one else that can come anywhere close to her. So I
No,
thought it was funny because Mayday goes to look for girls who went missing, right? Because Denny she hasn't been around the shopkeeper or the innkeeper, right? So she goes looking for them, and basically she gets kidnapped herself, right?
no, she was almost.
She was almost, and okay, so that's right, Mavis saved her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mavis, Reina, and Mire go and find they go and find like the hideout where the bandits are, and they find out that Pauline is the girl taking care of the kids who were taken like hostage. Long story short, they Mire like destroys the bandits, like absolutely just destroys them all.
So yeah, and the funny part about this is the leader of this whole group is obsessed with having an underage girl harem that kind of
Oh yeah,
grows. They
oh
they
yeah, I
grow
forgot about
with
that.
her. They grow with her into this like perfect relationship in her head, where she gets to lay her heads on their thighs as they stroke her hair to sleep. Like,
I would say that is very relaxing. Mm-hmm.
so this is their plan, and after she sees the power of Miles, she basically is completely enamored with her. It is now like, okay, no, she's the one I want, kind of thing. Um, and that's basically how the episode ends, with just them beating the bad guys.
Well, no, it ends with Mide
Oh, they
going
go to
to
the
enroll
dorm.
at a school.
Yeah,
And upon she's like, oh well, let me go and see like the campus or whatever, right? And then she gets to a door and she opens the door and she's greeted by Reina, Mavis, and Pauline. And now like so they were all like enamored with how she was able to just easily beat the bandits. So
yeah,
and that's the huge like that's most of the how episode 2 is really gonna start and kind of get into where they all enroll into school. Mavis gets the rank of A. And then it's funny because Mide tries to be average, but everything she does is just destroys her opponent.
yeah.
So it was really funny because Reina also tries doing this, like she does like this magic fire spell, and Mide copies it perfectly. And Mida's like, wait, how? could you do that?" She's like, "Oh, like family secret," and like she says this throughout the entire anime. It's actually hilarious because it comes all the way back at the end of the anime, and I thought it was great that they added that in again.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that is basically it, like, at the beginning, they're all, like, doing their introductions and saying their ranks, and she tries to lie and say she's in F rank, but they're like, "No, we've literally watched what you're doing," like, she's like, "You don't believe me?" She's got, like, this shocked look on her face, and they're like, "We literally seen what you did, like, talk about it," and then she like, "Oh, no, we gotta go to class, bye." One of my favorite parts about this, so while they're doing their testing to kinda see where they are, she ends up fighting one of the top fighters, at the school, and he basically looks and is like, "I gotta fight this girl." He's like, "I don't wanna fight her. I wanna fight that girl, at least she's not flat-chested." And then, of course, this is where Maya goes absolutely crazy. She gets so angry, and she forgets that she's trying to be
Be
below
be
average.
average. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so she, like, just takes him out with one hit, and then she, like, freezes, she's like, "Oh, wait, that's not what I wanted to do." So then
So,
they go
mm,
and they have to go out on their own, like, quest kinda thing for the school.
I
Go ahead.
so Mine like focuses on training the girls in hopes to not stand out as much. As like, okay, well, I know
Yeah,
that I'm strong, but if I can get the other ones closer to my level, I won't stand out as much, right? So I
yeah.
understand. But no matter what she does again and again, she just keeps standing out. Like she pulls out a campsite and makes a fire, and she just has food, like, like in her
She ha
inventory and stuff like that. Like she's just pulling
Yeah,
stuff
she has, like,
out.
an inventory skill. She has, like, an inventory
Yeah,
skill
and
where
and they're just like, wait, you also have the inventory skill too. Like, what doesn't this girl have, right? Um, she also rebuilds Mavis's sword by like putting it into the earth, right? And they're like, how does that even work? Like that shouldn't even be work. Like shouldn't even work. So
Yeah, she was using the minerals in the ground. She was pulling the minerals into the ground into it,
yeah.
refusing the sword.
So while they're on their quest, they run into four rock golem, right? And so so they're like, oh no, we can't beat this rock golem. And then Mine was like, well, we can because like I helped train you. Like we can do it together. And so they actually end up beating they defeat three rock golem.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're only she rank, right? And so the whole school is like, "Oh yeah, you're the only ones who like did the quest perfectly, and on top of that, you beat 3 rock golden." Like,
Yeah.
like there was no way they should have done that. And it's funny because the quest was to catch 10 rabbit, which is like hilarious. They did this like completely other thing, like in addition to that. So
Yeah, and
well,
they were
that was
having
the whole
trouble, like
thing is, right, is they had trouble, like, talking to rabbit, so that's why
yeah.
Mine, like, worked on, like, trying to train them a little bit, like, "Okay, I'm gonna help you guys get better so you can be
Yeah, because they
faster,"
were fast
and
in
stuff like
dodging.
that.
Yeah, she was
Mm,
fat they were fast in dodging them.
yes.
Even though even though they had an advantage to begin with because Maya was using her search magic to find the rabbits for them.
T Again, another skill that they're just like they're like, "How many skills do you have?" So, that was mostly it for episode 2.
Yeah, yeah. And then we jump into episode 3 where she's telling stories of anime and manga from Japan.
Yeah.
And then while they're just, like, starting to get ready for their graduation. Um, so at this point, Reina talks about them formally joining, like, them officially forming a party together. Um,
Mhm.
and they're asked by
The principal.
the the principal of the school
Mm.
who basically is like, "Look, we have to battle to save the school because if we don't win, they're gonna close the school down, so we want you guys to" you know, go out and help us do with this battle. It's a one-on-one, and then you have to win each round kind of thing. So they agree to do it. So as they're walking towards the um the area,
The
Mile ends up
arena.
running Mile ends up running into the villain, the villain boss who was kidnapping children, and they go off and have like a little chat together.
Yeah, the bandit boss there.
Yeah, so she basically says like, "Why aren't you in jail?" She's like, "Well, I'm actually a noble, so nothing really happens to me. Like the cops just kind of leave me alone." Like,
Sounds like sounds like real life.
yeah,
Shocker.
and she's basically like, "So are you the one? So you're the one who was basically saying, you know, trying to close the school down?" She's like, "Yeah, it's a way to get back at you for your embarrassing of us." And then she did say that she's going to she will come up with another arrangement. She said, "If your team can beat us in straight sets, then I won't close the school down. Nothing will happen. If you guys can't beat us, then you have to become my property."
That is what a what a bet.
And of course, Mile accepts. And she goes over to the girls and she tells her like, "Hey, I worked it out with the thing. Like the school's not gonna close down regardless. So you guys don't actually have to go all out." And they're basically like too fired up to really stop.
Well, yeah, well, also another thing, like, Mide is also concerned about her, like, actually what she's like, "Oh, I don't," like, again, she doesn't want to try in front of this whole arena of
Yeah.
people. Mavis wins her trial, like, it was, like, pretty decent fight. Uh, I'd have, Potty into one where, like, she got hit with a direct fireball, and the girl was like, "Ha! There's no way you should be standing after that," and she just heals it off.
Yeah, she just heals off and just starts walking the girl down. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you can keep trying. I'll just keep healing."
Yeah. And then, Reina wins her match by dispelling the mage's fire. He's like, "Wait, I don't know how to dispel, like, how to what? Okay." He was like
Yeah,
some
so
he was like some
he uses
70-year-old man too.
yeah, he uses like this big hellfire on her, which is like his greatest spell. And she blocks it with ice like easy. And then she's like, "Okay, now I'm gonna show off my skills." She goes to fire it back. And he's like, "Wait, wait, wait, no, that'll actually kill me." He's like, "I don't actually know any like ice protection." And then she kind of like does like a thing like she swipes her hand up and it just flies up in the air. He's like, "Okay, I give up."
And, like, Mide's opponent just quit. He's just like, "Nope, never mind, I'm out." But, the bandit leader, of course, comes out and was like, "No, I'm going to battle you." And Mide just destroys her. Like, it's not
Yeah.
even, like, close. She just, like, actively destroys her here.
I love it every time. I love it every time because you see it constantly throughout this where she's training with them or just her battles. I love how as soon as it starts, she's like immediately has the biggest smile on her face, lunging towards them. And she's like right in their faces in like an instant. And they're always like, "What the hell?" Every
They're
time. It
always
does not
so
even
shocked. They're
matter.
just like, "Wow, that's so fast. What the heck?" Yeah. So after the battle, they get swarmed by a group of people, and then they start selling dolls of themselves. And
Yeah.
people are wanting autographs, and that's how the episode ends. It's like
They
ends
yeah,
like
they
so
they
ridiculous.
they absolutely become like idols immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so the people go to them and they're each one of them are offering them different roles in different guilds. So basically like, "Look, like your fire magic would be perfect for us. Join us. Your
Mhm.
sword would be perfect for us. Join us. Your healing would be perfect." Like they're offering like each of the girls like different roles within their thing. And they immediately turn it down. They're like, "No, we can't." And then they do like the cheesiest group openings. It's like this like Sailor
Oh,
Moon,
that's
Power
right. With like the
Ranger
smoke. I forgot about like
announcement.
the smoke and stuff.
They
Yeah.
got the colorful smoke behind them, and they're all, like, posing, and they're
But they did that in
like
the arena too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, their
yeah,
opening was
and then that's
absolutely
where
ridiculous.
they're like, "Yeah, we're creating our own guild," and they say their name, and then that yeah, like you say, that's where they go out, and Mile makes, like, little what's it? I don't know what you call them, Netoroid,
Yeah. Mm.
to make these, like, little dolls of them, and everyone's like, "No, I want the Pauline one. No, I want the Mine." They're all like they're all, like, getting them all,
Like, I want a set of all of them. Like, yeah, I want a whole set. Mm.
and you see Pauline's just sitting there like, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." He's just taking in all the money. And then, yeah, that's where that one ends, and we jumps into episode 4,
But they
where
decide to go. Oh, sorry.
I like the beginning part.
Mm.
They're in the inn, and they're talking about, "Oh, we start when we go out on quests, we start making a lot of money. We need to update our inn situation." They're like, "Yeah, because this was really cheap. Yeah, it's really cheap. Like, everything's cheap. Like, look at the walls, it's cheap." And they keep talking about how cheap it is, and it doesn't have, like, a bathhouse. And then, of course, the owner comes in, or the one who runs it, Lenny, and she starts scolding them. She's like, "You know I can hear you. The walls are thin, right?" She starts scolding them for calling it cheap.
And she makes a deal, like they make a deal with her too, right? Where they're
Yeah.
allowed to stay at like a discounted price for the they have to work there as like solvers. They have to wear like maid outfits.
It basically becomes a maid cafe.
Yeah,
It's
this is
basically a
basically
maid
like
cafe.
yeah, maid cafe. So they
Yeah,
decide to go and collect rock desired materials on their first quest, right? They're like,
yeah.
oh, well, let's just take this quest. Like they don't want to do any like these lower level quests, right? So they're like, we'll take this big quest. Mide comes up kind of with the idea to kill it. I really do you want to talk about the battle or do you not care?
I like the way that they did it, like, at the
Mm,
beginning, so it basically shows, like, Mavis attacking it first, and the monster basically stops the attack, like, nothing really happens, and she kinda runs off on her own, but they end up doing it where he, like, stands up and he's, like, going to attack Mavis, and they hit it with ice. Which kind of makes it doesn't, like, freeze the monster's body, but it makes him, like, cold. So he kinda stops moving, and
slows
then
it down.
allows
Yeah.
Mavis yeah, and allows Mavis to finish it off. And she basically, like, they look at Mile and, like, "How did you ever come up with that?" She's like, "Oh, it's easy." She's like, Lizards are, they're reptiles and they're, like the way their body temperature works, they slow down when they get cold." She's like, "It's just just common knowledge kind of thing, right?" You just think back to Earth with cold-blooded creatures, right? And she's
Hmm.
kinda, like, explaining it to them, and they're just like, "Oh my god, you're so smart."
So I really like it when they bring it to the merchant and the
Yep,
merchant tries to swindle them. But Pauline is a daughter of merchants, so she understands exactly what he's trying to do, right?
yep,
And then
yep.
so he basically is she's just like, no, we'll just find someone else, and he's just like, whoa, no, wait, right? And
Oh, yeah.
I forgot what happens after. Do they ever sell it to him? No,
No,
right?
no,
No,
no. So what she does is um, she says, "Well, no, I don't have to sell it to you," kinda thing. "Oh, sorry, no. We're not gonna we changed our mind, we're not gonna do this." And then what they end up doing is selling it to the guild instead, and they report him as a shady
that's right.
seller.
That's what I thought. Okay, yes.
Yeah, and she says that his reputation was now harmed because he of what he did. So,
So yeah,
which was just hilarious.
they continue to do smaller quests before they want to do bigger things, right?
Yeah,
They decide to go out and guard merchants, right?
yeah,
Um, they get attacked, of course. After defeating, so they get attacked. They defeat the bandit group that attacks them, and then the mage builds like this huge like golem thing.
mhm, yeah,
Uh, But this is the first time you see Mire kind of get like hurt, right? She kind of gets knocked out for a bit, and Reina gets very angry and like is struggling. Like she goes out of her way to save Mire, right? Um, and as Reina was about to get attacked, Mire saves her with a shield, right?
yeah,
And then Mire freezes the golem, and then it breaks with a rock and slingshot. Like, I was just like, "Wait." It's a really ridiculous way to, like, defeat something like that, so
Well, because they explain it, it's because Reina had countered it with a fire attack,
mhm,
and then when Mile attacks with the ice attack, it froze it, so going from the really hot to really cold made the shell completely brittle.
mm,
So when you hit it with the rock, it just crumbled because of just how brittle it was from being weakened.
mhm. So then, like, Reina asks, like, have you ever killed anyone, right, to, like, the group, and they're kinda, like, really, like, shocked, like, "No," like, "We not," like, no one really answered, right? And then you get a small flashback of her dad's death to end the episode, and
Yeah,
episode 5 really goes into that backstory, so
yeah. Yeah, so that's it, like, the ending, like, the kinda leading up to that was she was really trying to kill the boss. So
mhm,
she was really, like, letting her anger take control, and she was like, "I'm just gonna kill him, just gonna kill him," kinda thing, and the girls are, like, talking her out of it, and then she explains her a bit about her kinda like you said, they're sitting around the campfire, and they're like, "Yeah, have you ever killed anyone?" And then episode 5 jumps into the backstory. It's kinda like a one after the other. Um, so, like you said, it shows Reina riding with her father. She's on, like, a carriage with him, and thieves end up stopping to rob them and tries to kidnap Reina, and her father is trying to stop the whole thing, and he ends up getting killed in the process. And then at this point is when some other hunters come in, and they end up stopping the thieves, and they apologize, like, "Sorry," they're, like, sorry because they're like, "I wish we would have been able to get here sooner to actually save your father,"
mm.
and then they ask her to take her in, like, "Would you like to come with us?"
Yeah, and
And
August, is a girl there who teaches Reina fire and water magic?
yeah, yeah, starts showing her different types of magic and has her practice.
So Reina is spending time with August in the group, and she gets the necklace here that she's wearing. She got from August, who said that it was a momentum for her mother. Well,
Yeah,
again, while they are guarding a group, they get attacked again, and everyone dies again on the outside of Reina, right? So again, it's like she just had to watch everyone she like cared about like die twice.
yeah.
It's like, wow, that is really sad.
Well, while they were protecting, so when they were overrun by the large group, they basically say she's like August holding on to Reina, and she says, "We can surrender. That is actually a condition of the contract. Like we don't have to defend them with our lives. We can surrender." So that's what they agree to surrender. And what ends
Mhm.
up happening is a merchant who had hired them basically says, "Look, I'll let you keep half my haul. Like in return for half my haul, I'll offer this mage here." It points to Reina. Um, as an exchange, like you can just keep her. She can summon magic at will, water at will, so you guys will never have to worry about water. You'll never
Yeah.
have to be thirsty.
Mhm.
So he's like, "What do you think of that deal?" And then he's basically accepting the deal. So all the guild members go to like stop it from happening, and that's where, like you said, they all get killed. Um, and then
That guy was
Reina
such a
basically
joke.
snaps.
Like,
So
oh my god.
yeah, so while the merchant and the bandit boss are talking, she basically goes up and burns them. She just goes up and like completely
Oh,
kills
she
the
goes
two of them.
crazy. Yeah, she
Yeah,
snaps and just starts
and then
murdering
that's
all
when
everybody.
and that's when guards end up running up on the whole scene, like actual like city guards, like the army. They end up running up on it to kind of help get rid of the rest of them. Uh, so next up is Pauline, who starts sharing her story.
I felt bad because like her father died. And then it caused him to lose the family business, and her mom was
Yeah,
forced upon the new owner. It's like, wow, that's sad. Like, that's terrible. Well, they had like a deed, right? And they were able to like the person who The person who, like, owned, like, the contract was her dad, and because he was dead, like, they were able to just kind of, like, steal it in a way.
Yeah, the merchant who ended up taking over the business forged documents,
Yeah,
and
mhm.
because the viscount of the area was more favorable towards the merchant, he accepted his claim of ownership. And he was one who made like, the viscount was one who could make all the decisions, so it's not like they could actually, like, go against him on anything. So they had to basically accept it. Um, and then, yeah, and then, like you said, the clerk ended up forcing, her mother to become a mistress, and then that's when she says, "I'm gonna leave and go on a quest to find my own power."
And then we get to Mavis's backstory where, again, she lost her mother, but she did grow up with 3 brothers and her
Yeah.
father, who is the king, right? She wanted to become a
He's a
knight.
count. He's a
Mm?
count,
Oh, he's
actually.
a count,
He's
I'm
a
sorry.
count.
Mm.
Yeah,
So she wanted to become a knight, but her family, of course, would not agree to this. So this is
yeah.
where she kind of just left and learned the skill on her own.
Yeah. You basically literally, that's what she said. She said, "They love me so much," and it shows them, like, hugging her and stuff, and it's just like, "But it was always my dream, so I just ran away." It just literally shows her running away at night. And, of course, Mila is last, and she basically says how she's the daughter of, a viscount, so it's step down from the count, and when she was 8, her mother and grandfather were killed by robbers, and it turns out it was all set up by her father. And then right after the funeral, her father brings in a new stepmother and sister, which they start treating her extremely poorly.
Mhm.
Um, and then because she's the daughter of the previous wife, they end up basically driving her out of the house. Like, kinda, like, literally chasing her out, like, "Get out of here." And then that's when it shows her joining another academy, and she basically explains how to, some of the new friends she met there, that she can't use her family name or she'll end up being murdered like her mother and
Yeah, that is, like, scary.
grandfather.
It's like, "Sorry, I can't really use my name because I might die." Like, ooh,
Yeah.
that is like, for how, like, for the most part, easygoing and, like, they live in a world where so much bad thing happen, but
Yep,
everything is, like, so lighthearted and cute.
yep,
It's really weird. The interesting is they were able to blend it all so well. Like, it doesn't
yep.
really feel, like, out of place. And then, she also meets up with, Nano-chan, which is, like, this weird cat thing. It was like a it was like a blob or something. It didn't
It was
really
like
have
a
a
water
form.
blob.
Yeah, a
Yeah, it
water
was like a
blob.
water blob,
And, like,
really.
she helped it, like, try to get its shape, and it's funny because the cat also acts as the narrator at times and is very funny.
Yeah, yeah. So at this point, she carries on talking about, like, why she left the academy she was at. So she says that she basically there was the royal guard, like, the royal family was doing, like, a parade through the streets, and this boy ended up tripping and falling in front of one of the carriages, and the royal guards end up running over, and they're basically like, "We're gonna kill you because of what you just did."
Like,
So,
again, like, there's sometimes where I'm just like, "Why? The
yeah,
kid just tripped, like, why do you have to kill, like, that is so stupid."
yeah. So then Mile runs out and uses a protection spell, kinda protecting, shielding the 2 of them,
Mhm.
in which they start accusing her of being a witch.
Then she
So,
pretends to be a god.
yeah, she ends up, like, mirroring wings and starts floating in the air, and she says she's a goddess. And she does, like, sends lightning by their feet to kinda, like, showcase, like, a little bit of her abilities,
Mhm.
and then she basically there's like, "Okay," they s all start bowing kinda thing, and she's like, "Okay, do not talk about this, don't talk about my coming, don't talk about any of this."
And then
And she
she
just
just
runs
leaves.
off,
And
and then
that's
she
the
just
end of
leaves
the
the academy,
episode.
like, she literally
Mhm.
just runs away. She's
Yeah.
like, "I wanted to live a normal life, this is not it."
So that was the end of episode 5, and then episode
Yep,
6 starts with the girls escort, they do complete the escort mission to the city.
Yep.
And of course they do the classic, they get to new town, so they eat, they shop, they go a little bit of sightseeing and stuff like
Yep.
that. It's found out though that later on that the bandits attacked the merchants and killed them. And it's sad because this one of them, they got close with like the head merchant guy who was like this
Yep.
old guy, right? And they met his granddaughter and they were like really worried that this guy was like died, right? So
Yep.
Reina goes after them by herself, right? Like she's saying, I'm gonna kill them. Like I'm going to like get rid of them. I'm gonna make sure they die, right? So
Yep. Yep.
and of course, the group ends up catching up with Reina, and they get mad at her for trying to do everything on her own.
Yeah, because they're basically like, "We're a group, like, what are you doing running off on your own?" Because they end up seeing her getting hurt because she attempts to use fire attacks on them, but the other mage is an ice mage, so he just
Hmm.
easily stops all of her attacks and ends up doing this powerful counterattack which kinda, like, cuts her arm, and then that's when they take her away. Um, I mean, she basically snaps at them first, kinda like, "Leave me alone," and then Miles like, "Nope," and she just, like, smacks her in the face. She's like, "No, what are you doing?" And so at this point, they remind Mile to, kinda like cast a search spell, like you haven't casted one in a little bit, and it was too late at that point. They were already snuck up on by the bandits. And just the way the bandit leader was talking, their formation, their strategy around everything, they kind of realized that they're not actually bandits.
Yeah, they're too structured. Like this is too
Yeah,
much. Like, yeah. So I actually thought this was like really like neat thing. Like for an anime, like from what I thought this going into this anime and from what I thought it was going to be, it actually ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And this was like
yeah.
one of the like big shocks. Where I'm like, oh wow, the girls discovered that the bandits are actually military working for a nation to gain an upper hand on on trade, right?
Yeah, so they're trying to get back on the city that the Amroth. So they're a neighboring country. So they're trying to act as bandits to disrupt the trade so that it spikes all the prices up
Hmm.
and leaves them short so they can easily take advantage of them. Um, so yeah, of course they start a battle and they do get an immediate advantage over them. Um,
Yeah.
Reina Reina again end up snapping and trying to attack and kill the boss again. And she initially they're trying to talk her out of it, but she doesn't listen. And she initially throws a major attack at him, but kinda like in the last moment, she kinda holds back on the power and ends up does nothing really, just kinda startle him.
No, I think she lights him on fire, but takes it away. So he is
Yeah,
scarred,
yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Like, she holds back at the end, like, she hits him, and then she holds back instead
Mm.
of just letting him burn to death. Um, and of course, that's where they go back and they're kinda sitting around town, and then the old merchant ends up showing up.
Yeah, so he lived, which was nice. Because
Yep,
his granddaughter made him like a lucky charm thing, right?
yep.
Like bought something, right, for him. It's like, oh, this will be like lucky charm thing. So it was good to see that he lived. But yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that
he was basically out. He explains he was out using the bathroom.
yeah.
And when he seen the bandits show up and he got scared and he was gonna fight, but he was like, "I got scared and I just ran away." And he got lost in the woods.
Hmm.
It's essentially what happened. And then
I
that ends that, and it starts off with episode 7.
I like the beginning of episode 7 because it kind of shows how the girls spend their own leisure time, right? Like
Yep,
so, like Mine oversleeps. Pauline is doing the group's finances, right? Being a merchant girl, of course, she's gonna
yep.
be doing stuff like that. I love Mavis here because she is just at a cafe reading, right? The night is like just at a cafe reading, and then like I like it because this group of girls are like, I don't know if that's a guy or a girl. And then
Like,
someone was like,
I don't
doesn't
really
even
care at
matter.
this point.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
right, and it's funny because she's, like, in a suit, like, almost like
Hmm.
a butler suit, like a fancy royal suit. And she's,
Yeah.
like, sitting there. The way she's carrying herself is like book in one hand, she's just sipping her tea, and there's, like, birds on the window ledge, like, around her, and it's like they probably just got this, like, shining light over her, and she's just, like, casually just sipping tea, and she's, "Oh, what are you guys doing here?"
And then, I like Arena too because she is like this tough girl, right? And she's like shopping for like girly accessories, and she's like,
Yeah,
"I hope no, I hope they never find me doing this because like they'll like tease me and make fun of me for doing this, right?" Uh,
yeah,
and this is what you kind of see from Mire's perspective is she's just been enjoying having them and being around the other girls so much that, like, now she's finding it harder to be alone when the time comes because in
yeah.
the beginning, she was always kind of alone, right? So she didn't really have a whole lot of problems, like, finding things to do, but now with how much time she spends with the other girls, it's like when they're not together, she does find it troublesome to be like, "I don't know what to do with my time now." So
Yeah. Well, and that's just it, and she kinda points out something that would be difficult for somebody who is being isekai'd from the world she was in into the world she is now. Because she
mhm.
stops and she thinks 'cause, Nano's there, he's kinda like, "Well, what did you used to do?" "Hmm, what did I used to do? What did I Oh, well, I would." And she starts, like, naming things that, are in this, in her previous world, right? Where she would say, like, "Oh, I would oh, wait, that's right, there's no internet. Oh, there's no gaming consoles here too. There's no anime, there's no manga." Like, she's just like, "Oh, I can't watch TV." Like, she's just naming, again, like, classic things that, from that our world that necessarily wouldn't be there, right? And she kinda like, "Oh, I don't know what to do now." So then she just starts practicing a diving bow. Where she jumps in the air, she
Yeah.
just flops down into a diving bow.
I was like, I was like, "What the heck is she" like, what is she doing?
Yeah, I know. And of course, this is where the others show up and they basically, like, ask her, like, "Do you wanna kinda, like you wanna come with us and go do something?" And then she's like she agrees,
Oh,
and
yeah. They,
that's kinda like
they
where
do
that part
something.
cuts off. Well, that's
Mhm.
where that part cuts off, and then it shows him eating, and they're basically like, you know Mile basically says she just loves being around them. Like you said, she just loves actually, like, having them around and doing stuff with them, and they're like, "Oh, well, if that's the case, well, why don't you just do why don't you just choose something for us to do?" And then that's when she suggests, uh, like, sunbathing, sea
Yeah,
bathing, like
going to the beach,
beach.
basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I guess in this world, there's not, like, swimsuit yet. So Mide takes the measurement of all the girls, and
Thoroughly.
she makes them swimsuits.
Yeah.
And this part was funny because, they get to the beach and then she just pulls out, like, these dressing rooms for them. I'll let you explain this
Yeah.
spot.
So she ends up going over and, like, she starts pulling out stuff that's, like, normal, like, for her, like, beach accessories, like a lounging chair, an umbrella, beach balls, water guns, tubes to float in, like, she's pulling out all these, like, things that she's built, for them. She says, "Oh, and I use copy magic to basically copy, one for each of us, so it's okay." And then, as she's explaining, they have no idea what she's talking about because again, they don't go to the beach, they don't go swimming, like, it's not common for them, so they're like, "I don't know what she's talking about." And then this is where she does pull out the bathing suits and says, "Okay, now, here's your suits." The girls look at them, they're like, there's not a lot of material on these things," and they're really unsure about it. And then this is where she does that diving pose to beg them to actually try them on. So she pulls out, like you said, she has, like, a changing room for them with, like, each their names are written on the top. And they're like, "What about you?" She's like, "Oh, I'm already wearing mine underneath." She already, like, pulls out, like, her outfit out to show it. So they each go in and they change, and it kinda shows them coming out in their outfits. And she tailored each one to kinda fit their personalities. Um, so
Who was it Reina? She had, like, a
yeah,
wig? Like, she's
she
like,
ends up
"Why do I
having
have a
wigs, like
wig?"
yeah, it's like this, like, classic, like Japanese haircut where it's like the jet black with the bangs and like why am I wearing this? So they end up going with their bathing suits and like, oh okay, well let's go in the water to go swimming. She's like, wait. No, that's not beach etiquette. She's like, you don't go to the beach to go swimming. She's like, we have to lay around and play in the sand. That's what true girls do. We just laugh and giggle. And the girls are like so confused. They're like, then why did you say that the swimsuits were functional? Why did you say we had to wear them like this? It's
So
like,
they end
no,
up
no,
building
no.
sandcastle and and splashing in the
Yeah,
water and stuff like that. So, mm.
yeah, that's basically it. They end up going and like again playing with all the stuff that she made,
They
and
also
they're
at
late.
the end they get in trouble by like a group of
Yeah,
people. Like these girls are not wearing any clothes.
like what are they doing? Yeah, and so they end up running off and they're embarrassed and they're like walking down the street and they're talking. And then this is where you kind of see a guard come out of an alley and Pauline notices, but she doesn't say anything.
Mm.
And then they continue walking and talking, and then when they turn around, she's gone. So Pauline is now missing at the end of the episode.
And episode 8 begins with us finding out that Marvis's brother is getting married to Pauline. It is a
Yeah,
forced marriage for political reasons. So yeah, of course the others make their way to try and find and save Pauline throughout the episode.
yeah. So basically, you see, it's the merchant who forced her mother into marriage. Is partnering with the Viscount for this marriage. So the Viscount basically says, "I'm going to adopt you because you being my daughter is more favorable. Like it looks better to the Count if it's a Viscount's daughter rather than just a merchant."
Mm-hmm.
So she goes and she's basically thinks, and I like it because she thinks in her head, she's like, I could really just beat all of them if it wasn't for the fact that they got my, mother and my brother held hostage. Like I could just wipe them all out right now. So like you said, they all show up to rescue her. So they end up going into a city, and like this part, this gang shows up and they're like, "Yeah, you got to pay a toll for passage in this city." They're like, don't try to mess with us. We have a guy who's big deal. He'll put a stop to you, kind of thing. And they're like, "Oh, okay. Why don't we go talk over here for a minute?" They point to an alleyway. They follow them. They just beat the crap out of them. Yeah, I freaking love it. And then this is where we see the Count shows up, um, who ends up looking at them and saying, "Okay, can I actually talk to the girl by myself?" And he's like, you know, by the way, like I know who you are. Like you don't have to hide. Like I know of your guys' talk. He's like my reach is long, so trust me. I know you guys. I know you're with my daughter. I know you're a hunter. He's like I don't approve of her being a hunter, so just be quiet and serve your purpose. And then he just kind of like walks away at this point. And
Yeah,
then
I
this
thought
is
she
where the
had
girls show up with the
I was
mask.
like kind of like
I thought he was evil too. Like I thought he was
no,
like
I
I
didn't
was like
think he was evil, but I was just like I was hoping he would not have been evil.
yeah
I
I
thought he was going to pull something like, "Oh, we're just using this to get close to him because we know the evil deeds he's done." And I thought
yeah.
he was gonna help them. Instead, he was a jerk. So
Yeah, at this point, I thought the same. He was just a jerk kind of thing, and I was like, okay, and it definitely threw me off. Yes. So then, of course, this is where the girls show up wearing ridiculous masks, and they go into the courtyard, and immediately an alarm goes off, and the entire guards rush out to go and attack them.
mhm. And this is great because this is where Pauline is like, "So you're telling me that there's no gods in the house right now?" And then the evil people, the accountant or oh my god,
The
the guy,
Viscount and the merchant.
yeah, yeah, the merchant and the viscount, they are like, no, they're all outside. And then so Pauline was like, oh, okay, cool, now I can destroy you. And then then her father, then Marvis's father comes down the stairs and is like, okay, we'll do this like the correct way, like they're gonna have a duel outside. And
Yeah,
so they start running after Pauline when the duel starts, and Pauline basically just makes quicksand, and she just destroys them. Of course, like it wasn't even close fight.
No.
And then Mavis has to battle her father, right, to be able to stay with Mide and her friends, right? And I actually thought this battle was actually a really good battle. Um,
Well, not this one. So what ends up happening, so like you say, I like the part before this where she
mm,
does the spell to create the quicksand. I like the part where they're completely thrown off by this. Like, wait, you didn't even say anything. Like, we didn't even
oh
know you were
yeah.
doing a spell. And I
Hmm.
love how she pointed out, she was like, yeah, I started it when we were inside the castle, like give it time to warm up. And then she was like, just so you know, you can just do a spell in your head. You don't actually have to say it. And I was like, yes, yes, finally, finally.
And that's true.
So
It actually makes it funny because it goes well with the last anime we watched too,
yeah,
right? Where like they didn't yell the spells either. So I'm like,
nope,
wow, they're just two in a row where they're just not like,
I
sword
know.
attack and stuff like that, right? Like quicksand or something like that, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
So
mm,
basically, what ends up happening is the count ends up saying he because Pauline turns to like thank him, like thank you for like striking judgment on like kind of like getting like allowing me to get my revenge kind of thing. He's like, oh yeah, he's like I already knew of what they were doing. It's like I already knew of their evil deeds. He was like I was just using this whole thing as a way to kind of like pass judgment on them. He was like, and I
mm.
also knew that they would come and help you. And he's like, especially you, Mavis. And she tries to hide. I love. She's like, I'm not Mavis. I'm. It's like I know who you are. And then I love this part where like Emile is looking. He's like, it must be the it must be the power of the father daughter bond that he could see through her disguise.
Yeah,
And Donna's
like
like,
their disguises when they first showed their disguises and their original name is the Crimson Vow, but
yeah,
for this mission they went under the name the Crimson Blood. Like, yeah, that's so
I
much
know,
different name, and
I know.
yeah, no one will ever figure out like who you are because their hairstyle was the same, their outfits were the same. All they had is these stupid
It's a
mask
little
things. Like
mask.
it's just so,
And it's literally just little circles around their eyes. Like it wasn't even like so her father says that you have to come home. She says no, and he says, "Okay, battle for it." So she battles his guards,
Oh,
and
oh,
she
she
completely
just
destroys
murders her
him
god so
right
fast,
away.
just so fast, and
And
he's like,
he's like,
"What?"
"Wait, how did you get that strong?" And then she
Yeah,
goes, "Oh, it's
exactly.
because of my master." And she points to Mila in Mile and says, "Oh, it's because of my master." And he's like, "Oh, interesting." He's like, "Okay, I want to battle you then." And then he battles Mile, and that's
Oh,
where
that's
they
right.
actually
I'm
have like
sorry. Yeah,
yeah, they
Mayday.
have their
Mm.
their epic battle. And I like it because then Miles, like she's, like, slowing, like, his attacks are, like, really fast and powerful, and then she stops, she's like, "Oh, wait a minute. I have to take this cape off, it's slowing me down. I actually can't really move in this thing." So she, like, takes it off, she's like, "Oh, that's better." And then she does that, like, again, where she, like, lunges towards them, she got that smile on her face, and she's, like, right in their faces. She's like, "Wait,
Mhm.
how'd she get this fast?"
Yeah, and then he was like, oh my god, he was like, her movements are so like sloppy, but she still has like a lot of power. Like
Yeah,
he was like, if she refined like her swordplay, she would be absolutely like unbeatable. I mean,
yeah,
she's basically unbeatable anyway, but yeah, she could be even more so. She actually took care, like, in her ability of swordplay.
yeah.
Actually, I really liked that battle a lot, and that was basically the ending of the episode where they were able to keep
Yeah, he just
yay!
basically tells Miles like, I'm leaving you to care for my daughter. And I
Mhm.
like as he's like walking away, Miles like, wait, does that mean I'm her guardian now? She's so like
Yeah.
confused by everything. And then I like it as they're leaving, he's like chasing after the cart.
That's right, he's like, "No!"
No,
And then,
Mavis, don't
they're
leave
like, "Don't you
me.
feel" and they're like, "Wait, don't you feel bad?" She's like, "No, he did this the last time, and my 3 brothers were also with him. It was pathetic."
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, but look how fast he's running to try. He's like running full speed, and he gets close to the cart. And she just looks at the driver. She goes, "Speed up the cart." He, like, trips and falls. He's like,
Mm.
"No." And I like it 'cause they're all like, "Oh, he actually cries like her too." So, episode 9 starts with them shows all the girls working at the cafe
Mhm.
at the inn, and I like it because 'cause they're sitting there watching the inn worker, Lenny, counting this massive pile of gold that the girls have earned for her because they're, like, so adorable and cute and stuff, and all the customers just absolutely love coming back to see them. So she's all, like, so happy about everything, and they, like, try to, like, talk her out of, like she's like, "Oh, see you guys girls tomorrow," and they're like, "We don't wanna do this," and they, kinda, like, go back and forth. They end up, like, losing to her. She thinks she outsmarted them kinda thing. And then that's when the girls go, "Okay, we're gonna go and look for a job, like, actual work, because we don't wanna do that job anymore."
Mhm.
Uh,
So they
yeah,
decide to go hunt a wyvern?
mhm. Yeah,
So they learn about, like, how hard it is to, like, actually kill this thing, right? Because, um, so many people have tried and failed. And they not like some of them have died and, like, they found out that the wyvern is stealing cows and stuff like that. So Mita is, like, trying to think like, "Okay, well, this thing doesn't come towards the ground really, so we have to and it's good at dodging, like, long range attacks, and if it sees the same adventurers coming after it, it won't come back, so you only have, like, one chance."
yeah, he
This was
basically she explains that the girl at the guild, adventurers hall or whatever, she explains that if they're hit with a powerful attack, they'll just run away. They say because of the large area they live in, it's so hard to find their den, and they remember faces, and if you hit them with a powerful attack, they won't go near you again. So,
Mhm.
like she said, that's why it's so hard to actually go through the quest because of those kind of factors.
Hi. So, Mita is like she starts launching the girls in the air, and she grabs Elena first, and there's like she spins around and throws Elena towards the Wyvern, and
Yep,
Elena's like freaking out so bad, right? So she doesn't even attack, and then Mita's like, "You're supposed to attack it. You're supposed to attack it when you get close." And so, she, of course, just freaks out, doesn't attack, and then, Mide uses, like, a spell to help her land.
yep,
Yeah, and so Reina pees herself here because of, like, fear, I guess.
yep,
So, then she starts firing the she grabs Pauline. No, is it Pauline or Mavis?
she
Is it Mav
goes to grab Pauline.
Yeah,
She
that's right.
tries, but Pauline keeps dodging her a bit, so then
Yeah.
that's when Mavis just volunteers to go a second instead, and then
Mm,
she kinda, like, grabs her, does the same kinda
hi
thing, throws launches her, and she kinda, like, is immediately like, "Ooh," like, dizzy a little bit, but then comes to her senses. She does, like, a sword attack, but she ends up getting cut in the arm by, like, the wyvern,
mm.
and then just falls before she can do any kind of, like, a secondary attack. And then, again, same kind of thing, Mile blocks, braces her fall, and then she goes to turn to look for Pauline at that point, but Pauline is gone, she's nowhere to be found, and then you just see her walking through the woods, and she ends up running into the other girls.
She runs into no, cause Mavisu actually falls near, oh my gosh, Mide
Reyna.
again. No, Mide, because it's Pauline that ends up finding Reina and, like, sees her
Yep,
taking, like, a bath, and she's like, "Oh, like, she noticed she noticed what she
yep.
noticed what happened.
But the 3 girls walk up together, the 3 girls walk
Yeah.
towards.
Yeah, they all, like,
Yeah,
come back. So then they go back to, doing their firing strategy, and this time, Mide fires Pauline
yeah.
and
So
turns her
she
mm,
finally understands what her actual plan is,
mhm,
because Mile explains a little bit more that our attacks aren't gonna reach it to do
right.
any kind of damage, so that's why I'm throwing you guys closer, and what you're supposed to do is when you get closer, then use your attacks on it. So then the girls are kind of like piecing it together, like, "Oh, okay, now we understand what you're trying to do." So, yeah, Pauline agrees to do it, and she grabs her and, like, spins her and tosses her up in the air. And as she's launching towards it, they realize that Pauline is basically, like, she's too stunned, she's, like, almost knocked out, and she can't actually use an attack.
Well, yeah, she got dizzy, right? Like she was
Yeah,
spun around, like so she was dizzy and like kind of
yeah,
dazed, and so they turn her into a block of ice, and she smashes into the Waverin, which comes crashing down to the ground,
yeah.
and then they charge it, and just before they kill it, the some guy who raised it arrived, and he was talking about how his parents wouldn't let him keep him for obvious
Yeah,
reasons, and of course it was like this you know, the owner and me, they go back and forth about so they go back and forth about the name of the Waverin, which is ridiculous. It's hilarious.
it is.
We're like, she's like, no, it's this name. He's like, stop giving him a name. I already gave him a name, right? Sort of thing. So
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny. And then they end up just letting him. They were like, no, we have to kill him for a reward, and then he's like, no, I can teach him to, like, be good, and then he just ends up giving them a bunch of money too. And then on top of that, because they end up stopping the Waverin, they also get money from the reward as well. So they ended up getting,
yeah.
like, so much cash, and they are they have enough money to leave the inn at the end of the episode, and Danny is like, "No, you can't leave, like, why?" Like, she's so sad that they're leaving.
And I love how they're like, We just we don't wanna work in the thing, we want a place with a bath." It's just like, "Okay, I'll tell you guys a deal.
Mhm.
You don't have to work in the inn, like, in the shop anymore, but, you guys pay regular rate now, you pay standard rate. How's that for a deal?" And at first they're gonna accept him, but they're like, "Wait a minute, that would just make us regular customers." You figured it out. And then they basically kind of come to an agreement where they're gonna build a
They
bathhouse.
build the bathhouse there, yep, it's
So
exactly
they
what they do.
they use they use a lot of their savings. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why are they going through all this trouble to like make her in so much more money? Like I don't understand.
It make no sense because with
It
all
just
this
keeps
money, I
benefiting her.
guarantee you they probably could have bought, like, house or something.
I know. I'm like, I don't
So
get it.
it's just very funny. So that's how episode 9 was hilarious. I was laughing so much through this episode. There was
Especially
multiple
the end.
times throughout.
Especially the end with I love it because they're going back and forth with Letty and they're like at first it's like Lindy, like, rips them off with, like, the whole, like, working in the restaurant for her kinda thing. And she's like, "Haha, I win." And then at the end, when they're, like, gonna leave, you see Reyna looking at her like, "Haha, I win." And you see Letty all mad, she's like, "I lose." And then they see her go into the bathhouse, and they look her up and down, and they're like, "Wait, why does she look like that at 10 years old?" They're like and then they're both, like, sunk in the bath, they're like, "I lose."
Ah, the classic bathhouse. "Oh no, someone is bigger than me. Oh no."
Yeah. I think they were really bad because they're like, "She's 10. Why is she like that?" It was hilarious.
Again, why are you drawing 10-year-old like that? What are you
I know, I
doing?
know. I'm like, I know.
So speaking
So
of 10,
yep.
episode 10, um, Mide is surprised by the girls. They throw her a small, like, birthday party, right? Sort of thing?
No, it's Lenny.
Oh, it's Denny.
It's Lenny's birthday party.
It's Denny's
Uh,
birthday party. Mm.
yeah, and they end up making Lenny a doll. And so basically it starts showing Mile at the academy with her other friends who were celebrating her birthday. And after this is where it basically shows that it's Mile telling the girls about this and like just like talking about how overjoyed she was that somebody actually celebrated her birthday there. And she's just going
Mm.
on and on about how special the moment was and how amazing the moment was. And then what ends up happening is it triggers Reina, who starts being jealous in like a competition. Like, oh, Miles, past friendship, and I bet you if we threw her a party, it would be so much better than theirs, and she would forget about them, and
Dana Dana is so competitive, like, she is so
yeah.
like, she's got that fire competitive spirit, right?
Yeah, and then they basically she's like, "Too bad it's not her birthday, 'cause then we would throw her a party and it would be so much better." And then Mavis makes the mistake of saying, "Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be your birthday, it could just be, like, if there was any kinda, like, anniversary that was close by, I mean, even
Yeah.
that would do." And then that's when Pauline triggers her, like, Rolodex memory. And
Oh
she's like
yeah, Pauline has like the crazy memory, right? Like of a
yeah,
merchant, right? Like where she remembers dates and like
yeah.
money and like everything. She remembers everything. It's
So it
crazy.
sees her, like, floating through everything in her head, and she's like, "Oh, wait, but today is an anniversary, or coming up is an anniversary. It'll be 200 days since we met her."
And while they are trying to make they start going on like missions by themselves without Mide, and they're like, well, we don't want her to know because we're trying to save up money because they saw her looking at a pendant in the window, right?
Yeah.
And Mina is like trying to wondering like why are they avoiding her, and she's like, did they find out like apparently she was stealing money from the group. She was
No,
also
cookies.
oh,
Cookies.
cookies.
She
Yeah,
said she says she says while Pauline is good at remembering where the money's gone, she's
mm,
turns out she's not as good at remembering her cookies.
yeah, so she stole Pauline's cookies. She
Yeah.
was taking what sizes of Mavis
No, she was
or
taking
read
secret measurements of Reina's
yeah.
chest to compare with her own. And then
And
she
then
was
she was
using, like, a
reading.
sleep spell. She was using a sleep spell to knock her out when she was, like, waking up.
And then she was reading, Mavis's, diary, right?
Yeah, her
Yeah,
picture
that's it.
diary,
Her picture
and she was
diary.
laughing and making fun of how bad the pictures were. And then she keeps she's sitting there, and she goes and talks to Lenny, like, "Have the girls been talking bad about me? Have they talking about me?" And she has this moment where she's, like, sitting on a chair, and she's, like, having her own, like, weird, like, daydream where they're telling her that it's her graduation from the group. She's being kicked out, and
Like an
they're
idol
bringing
group, right?
Lenny
It's
in. Yeah,
yeah, it was hilarious, like, idols. I don't if you don't know, but idols, they, when they finish working with a group, they say they are graduating.
yeah,
So that's kind of like the tradition, and I like how they threw that in there, like, "Oh no, I'm graduating," right? So,
yeah,
because they're gonna kick her out of the group, and like, and then he, that's funny, because like then he's like freaking out, like, because she's bad at like with secrets, and she's like, "Oh, I have so much work to do," and like she just like hurries away, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
And I laugh because, like, her whole reasoning for why she thinks they were bringing Letty in is it just shows right at the end going, "We already have one flat-chested girl, we don't need 2 in the group." It's like, it's so stupid.
It's like so, yeah, so ridiculous.
So then again, it goes back to showing the girls working for money on a quest.
And then they end up like meeting up with Mide, right? And then, Mide's like, "What's been going on? Like, why have you been avoiding me?" Like, she does, like, bring it up with them, and they're like, "Oh, we're trying to surprise you because it's, like, our 2-year anniversary that we became friends, and we were going through
200 days. 200
200 days,"
days.
sorry.
Yeah,
What did I say? 200 years?
2 years. No,
Sorry.
it's 200 days.
200 days, right, and, so they're like, "Yeah, we're saving up all this money to buy you the pendant in the window," and she's like, "Oh, I don't really like something like that. That's too flashy. I was looking at the eating meal for all of us," and they're like, "Oh, wow, okay, we didn't know that." And they're like, "It's so much cheaper." Do they buy them? I think they buy them.
They did, yes.
Yes.
Like, before this, when it's I like the scene before this, so while they're battling like a chicken, it's like a giant chicken. So, they end up knocking it out. As they end up attacking it, that's when they hear Mile, who shows up and sees them, and she starts crying, and she's, like, immediately,
Mm.
like, yelling at them about the whole thing, right? Like, "How could you do this to me?" And she's like, "Why are you kicking me out? I don't wanna graduate. Just because I have a small chest, why do I have to graduate?" And they're all confused, like, "What is she talking about?"
S
Like, "We have no idea what she's talking about." and she's crying, and she's, like, scolding them, and then the chicken, like, stands up and is, like, hovering over her, and they're like she turns like, "You be quiet," and she, like, throws it like, this giant flame ball at it, like, just kills it in
Just
one shot.
torches it, just absolutely
Yeah,
torches it, yeah.
yeah, and then that's when they walk back, and she starts, like, talking about, like, "This is what we're gonna do." She's like, "Oh, is that it? That's all it was. You should've just told me at the beginning." Like, we wanted it to be a surprise, like
And I
and then
think
it
it's
ends up
funny
showing them going to the end and having their party.
'cause as they're having their party, she's like, "Oh, yeah, well, I thought you were mad at me," and then she accidentally reveals all the stuff that she was doing to them,
Yeah.
and then, they're like, "Wait, you what?" Like, they're, like, all shocked and mad at her, and she's like, "Oh."
It's like, "Oh, no." And then that's the end of that episode, and then it jumps to episode 11.
So episode 11 starts with the girls continuing to try to raise their adventure rank, and so they take on a stronger quest with a better reward, of course. And Mita confesses, she's like, I think you guys have been relying on me too much, right? And so, which is weird. I found this to be weird because the previous episode was them just doing all these quests by themselves, so I
Yeah.
kind of felt
Well,
like this was, I'm not
not
sure.
really, 'cause it goes through, like, a little bit of a time I think it might have been, like, a little slight time gap, but what starts it off is at the beginning is they're out camping,
Okay.
and what it shows is she's walking around collecting campfire, and it shows her walking back to camp. So she's got all this wood in her hands, and she's walking back to camp, and then she just sees the others are just lounging down, laying down, lounging on a blanket.
Ah, yes.
So, like, what they're eating and they're reading, and she's like, "Look, guys, like, I know we're close to the city still, but, like, you shouldn't be so relaxed like this." And they're like, "Oh, it's okay. You can just use your searching magic to look for anyone. Like, nobody will get an advantage on us, so it's okay. Like, with you here, it doesn't really matter." And she's like, "Yeah, can I have a blanket?" And and then the other one's, "Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Like, yeah, just give us a blanket kind of thing, right?" And then that's when she's kind of like, as she's pulling it out, she has that look on her face, like she's looking at him like, "I don't, I don't like this." And then, like I said, that's where she has that conversation after they're looking for that, like, big mission. She's like, "Look, like, guys, like, can I, like, sit this one back? Like, I don't wanna do, like, a whole lot on this because you guys are relying on me too much." And then that's where, again, like you said earlier, Rihanna gets her competitive spirit. She's like, "Oh, no. We're doing this quest, and we're gonna do it without you." She'll, like, set out on the mission, like, "You can come with us, but we're gonna take the lead. Like, you don't actually have to kinda help out us much on this one, like, we'll actually do it to prove it to you that, we're okay."
Mm. So I so the quest they're taking, right? They are looking for people who have been going missing, right? Uh They were searching for ruins, right?
It was so what they explained is that there were monsters that were hard to find, like, the regular monsters
Mm.
that are normally in these areas were extremely hard to find, and there was monsters who are not supposed to be in these areas are randomly showing up more. So they had sent a scholar and then, like, a security detail to go and
Mm.
investigate the phenomenon because they weren't
Right.
sure what was happening and why it was happening. So they sent them to go and investigate it, and they went missing. And their whole quest was to go and find them.
So I really like when they are like moving through the forest here. I like
Yeah,
how their formation and their tactics change depending on their
yeah,
situation. I thought that was like a really neat little thing to add into here. Like you really show like that the teamwork has been like progressing throughout the story, and
yeah.
I like when little like just little details like that I always appreciate. Um and they discover beast people, which is actually really neat, I think.
Yeah, so
And
they're sitting around talking because they're sitting around talking about it and, like, what might have been happening, and they think that they explain what they think might be happening is that a larger monster is showing up, which has forced the, like, medium-sized monsters to go out of their normal zones and then kill off the smaller ones, which
mm,
is what's causing the situation. So as they're talking, Mile either hears or sees something off in the distance, and she grabs her slingshot and fires out into, like, nothing. And she's like, "It dodged." And they discuss it, and they're like, "Oh, that actually shows that it's intelligent if it's
Mhm.
able to see and dodge this." So
Right.
it kinda puts them on edge a little bit, and then that's when they end up walking, and they're kinda like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, there's actually" they were actually gonna go back is what they were gonna do. They were gonna go back and tell the guild, but they said they're like, "We don't think it's a good idea for the research team because if it's something intelligent involved, it really puts them at danger. So we'll just kinda like" Miles like, "I'll actually get involved, and I'll actually help now, and we have to go and rescue them," kinda thing, and they all agree to it. So as they're walking, she can sense they're approaching. She's like, "Yeah, there's a large group of them coming 300 yards away," and then it goes, like, 200, and then they split into 2 groups, and then that's when they show up, they kinda get surrounded a bit by the beast people, as they call them.
Yeah, cause they go, so after they talk to them, right? They talk to them real quick?
Yeah, it's like a brief conversation with the like, "Wait, humans?" And it's just like a small, like, thing, like, "You guys don't like your movements are not, like, quite like humans," but it's not like a real, like, full conversation,
Mhm.
and they basically just torch the ones that are there, and then they kinda, like, rush off at first because they don't wanna really get, like, too overwhelmed. Because one of them's like, "Look, we got, like, a large force all through these woods that are around us right now." So they initially go off, and then they stop, and they're like, "You know what? The way that the wording that they just use, it makes it sound like they actually are the ones who have the researchers. So, like, yeah, we actually should go and follow them, which
So
one
they
ends up
wait
happening.
well, they wait till nighttime, right? And then they
Yeah,
go and
yeah,
they save the, adventurers and the researchers, but the main, professor isn't there, and it's revealed that they are deep in the ruins, like, way deep in the ruins. Because as they get closer to the camp or the area where the beast people are, they, like, see that there's huge things being, like, dug up and,
on
like,
Doug.
all
Yeah,
these ruins and stuff like that, so after they save the smaller group, they go deep into the ruins, right? And uh the beast people are like impressed that they made it that far. Like, wow, you actually were able to like make it this far. It's like really good. Um, but I wouldn't go any farther because like you're not gonna dip. Like no one can survive down there and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's when they move further down into the ruins here, and they meet up with the professor, right? But they also find out that the elder dragon is here, which is really neat. I like this battle a lot in episode 12 between them.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so they immediately, like, cut through, like, as they enter, they see the scholar, they cut through it. They look at her, and she's like this little, like, young girl, and she basically explains, she's like, "No, I'm older than all of you." She's like, "I'm an
She's
elf."
like, I'm 30. Yeah, she's like, I'm
She's like,
30.
"I'm an elf."
Mm,
She's like, "I'm older than all of you." And then initially they go and they turn and they think it's an earth dragon, and they start firing attacks at it. And the attacks are just bouncing off it and not doing anything.
mhm.
And then that's when they discover they're like, "Oh no, this is not actually an earth dragon." The elf is like, "No, that's an elder dragon." And at this point, this is where the dragon kind of like swings his tail and smacks Mavis. No, sorry, smacks Mile and
Mira,
sends her
yeah.
flying into a wall. And she starts like spitting out blood, and then that's when she kind of like collapses onto the ground.
Yeah, she
So
gets hit so hard here.
yeah,
So
and they end up seeing
there's
this.
mhm.
Yeah, they end up seeing this, and earlier during the battle to get into the dungeon area, they're trying to go quickly because they're trying to like get out of, get the scholars out as quickly as possible. So earlier, Mile had given Mavis a potion to use, which would significantly boost her abilities, her speed, everything, but it comes at a cost
Mhm.
physically to her body. And she warns her of this. So as Mavis was rushing in to get into the tomb, she uses one and she rushes through them all, beats them all up. And when she sees that Mile is on the ground, the girls get angry and determined that they're going to, protect her. She's not dead. She's going to get up. Like, you wait and see. She's going to get up. So we're going to protect her until she does. So Mavis just keeps using potions. to keep her attack speed and keep everything going up.
And
And I
the
like the battle.
and the other girls are still, like, firing other, like,
Yeah,
fire and ice too at the dragon as well.
yeah, and I like it because I like the dragon stops and he keeps being impressed with them as the fight's going on. He's like, it's actually impressive that you guys got a scratch on me. And then he just kind of like heals himself instantly, but he's like, I'm actually impressed that you guys actually were able to do this as humans, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And of course, that's when that ends and then jumps into episode 12.
Yeah, so the final episode, we kinda get more of Miday's, like, backstory, like, her real, like, backstory, like, right before she get,
Yeah.
like, isekai'd, right? And you kinda see her, like, with her family, right, and stuff like that, and, uh, I don't understand why she wanted to get isekai'd. She was just, like, lonely, she didn't have friends at school, but she had, like, a nice family and stuff like that, right? From what I
Yeah.
gathered. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is what she said. And yeah, she basically is like, she didn't really want to. She said she could have, like, she really wanted to carry on that life, but she kind of had no choice but to kind of get isekai, if you will. Um,
Yeah, she, like, had to save the kid, right?
yeah, and then you kind of see her kind of like she goes through these moments throughout this early part where she's like getting up and looking at the girls who are attacking, and she's trying to get up to help, but she can't. She just keeps collapsing, and then she just keeps going back and having these kind of like outer body dreams, kind of thing. Um, and then it starts showing her other life at the other academy with her other friends and showcasing her early parts of her isekai life. Um,
Well, I feel like, throughout, like, this, early part is, like, she just kept feeling sorry for herself. Like,
yeah,
she was just is kind of what I gathered.
yeah. It's just like for her, it's more of like a frustration where she keeps trying to have this normal life, like she wanted a normal life, you know, in her original life, and that didn't work out because of saving the kid and getting hit. And then she wanted the normal life when she got isekai'd, and it didn't happen because of the whole, trying to save the kid again and, exposing herself as a powerful being and having to run away. And then now, it's turning out the way it's turning out now, where she's trying to get up and help them, but she can't because now she's like seriously injured, right? Um, Early on. So she's kind of feeling, like, frustrated with herself, and then the others, like, her other visions of herself are basically, like, telling her, like, "Why? Are you ready to give up? Are you actually ready to give up on this life? Like, like, you actually have, like, all this stuff going for you, like, why are you, like, just giving up," kinda thing. Um, and then she looks up again and sees her friends still, attacking and really trying to, like, go all out for her, kinda thing. And then this is where the dragon says the wrong wording. He says, "I'm tired of you guys. I'm actually just gonna kill you."
So this is when Miday gets up and, like, now starts going all out against the dragon, and she's able to pierce the dragon.
She does like a
She's
gunshot, like holding her
Yeah.
fingers like a gun.
Mhm. Yep, and she's able to, like, produce a force field to protect against the dragon's attacks, and, like, now the dragon's like, "What wait, this girl, like, is actually, like, gonna this girl could actually kill me. Like, this girl is actually crazy. Like, I didn't
Yeah, he's
realize
starting to
how."
actually show, like he's actually starting to be scared of her power.
Yeah,
He's like,
he's
"Wait,
like
like."
he actually starts trying. And then 2 more dragons show up, so that's fun. And it's
Yeah.
crazy because Mide is just fighting them off by herself at this point.
Yeah, so she basically is like she starts, like, firing shots at them, and they're now powerful. Like, they're now all 3 of them are now scared because they
Oh,
see
and
this one
they
human who
yeah.
shot, like, the first dragon in both arms. So they're looking like, "Wait a minute, like, this thing actually did damage?" And then when they see her, like, she fires an attack at them, and all 3 of them put up a shield, and she just
Mhm.
bursts through all shield. So the first time, she doesn't do any damage to them, but it's still enough that she, like, broke through their shields that they're all like, "Oh, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Like,
they're like, "This
what's
should be
going on
impossible."
again?"
Yeah, this is like, should
Yeah.
be impossible. So then they fire back, and she is able to, like, shield against theirs, and now they're like, "Oh, wow, okay, this girl's actually, like, for real." It's
Well, yeah,
it was
because he
like a
uses, like, a
really
he
Mm.
does like a hyper breath attack, like the original dragon she fought. He's like, "Okay, I'm done with you." And he goes to do like this hyper breath attack, and the other two dragons are like, "No, no, that's too extreme. Like you're going too
You're gonna
far."
yeah, you'll actually, like, just murder her. And
Yeah,
he's like,
and then
"Oh, I
she
don't
like
care."
defends it. So
Mhm.
like she defends it, and it like kind of breaks through. Like initially, kind of like her attack, where it breaks through, but it doesn't do any real damage. She kind of just knocks her back.
Mhm.
And then she's like, "Okay, that's it. I'm done." And then she, like, fires another attack. They shield again, and this time it breaks through and hits them. And then now they're kinda like, "Oh, oh, okay. Oh, oh, okay." And then she's like, "Why don't you guys just surrender and tell me, like, what you guys are doing? Like, what's your plan?" And then that's when all 3 of them start with their stronger like, all 3 of them start doing their attack all at once.
And she blocks it.
Yeah, she counters it with her own, like, her own, like, beam of her own, her Miku
Mhm.
beam.
Mayday, mayday beam! Yeah, exactly. Um, so, w they just kind of leave after that. They're like, "Okay, well, this is like it's like a stalemate, like, we're not gonna get anywhere doing this." And so the dragons just kind of, like, go away.
Well, she asks him first, she says, "Okay, now that I've knocked you down,
Mhm.
I wanna have a conversation now. Like, tell me what you're doing here," kinda thing. And
Mhm. Yeah.
they explain a little bit where they're like, "We're looking for a lost civilization." And then sh as they're about to leave, she goes, "Well, like, what is your purpose for like, why are you looking for it?" And they're like, "That's a secret, like, no, we're not gonna share that with you. Like, even if you wanna fight us again, we're not gonna tell you." And then they kinda, like, fly off on their own. And then you see her laying in bed, like, she's, like, sitting there talking to Nano, and she's like I think she's in the bathhouse, and she's talking to him, she's like, do you know what the dragons are after?" He's like, "Yes." And she's like he goes, "But I can't tell you." He's like, "It's classified."
So it is funny too, like right before they got out of the cave and it went to that scene, I like
Yeah.
how the professor girl that they saved um
Oh, yeah, yeah.
was like, "Wait, how how are you able to do that?" And then the other girls, they all say it's a family secret technique, the line that
Yeah.
Mayday was using throughout the
Yeah.
entire like thing. And then all the girls like look at each other and nap, and the professor's like, "Wait, I don't get it. Like I don't get it."
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah, it was
I just a
hilarious.
little bit funny, yeah. So and then yeah, like you said, he kind of like makes note like he is like a god, like he's a little bit more all knowing than he's leading on. Like he's like, I know things, but I just can't say stuff for one
Yeah, 'cause
reason
he
or
basically
another.
he talks about how he can read people's, like, wishes and their intentions and their
Hmm.
thoughts through, like, waves. And he kinda, like, senses everything all at once, and like he said, like, he goes, "I know it from this, but it kind of feels like secret information." It's almost kinda like it's cheating if I just tell you. He's like, "I don't I can't really share those kind of things, right?" Um,
Yeah, and this is where Mireis keeps having visions and dreams about what the dragons are after, right?
yeah,
And so at this point, she believes that the reason why she's being reincarnated is to help save this world from being destroyed, I think. Uh,
yeah.
so she goes to like get ready to like kind of investigate by herself. So she gets up in middle of the night and leaves. And of course, as she's like making her way out, the other girls show up and catch up to her and is like, "Where are you going? Like, you know, we're supposed to be doing this as a group. Like, what's been going on? Like, we've noticed like you have not been sleeping and stuff like that." So, um, unfortunately, it's very weird because that's it. The story just kind of ends there.
Yeah,
So,
they're riding in a carriage. They're riding in a carriage setting out to go find what the dragons are after. And that's yeah, and like you said, that's pretty much how the anime ends.
so I thought it was a pretty good anime.
Yep.
It's one of those ones where it's not really completed. I probably never This one of those ones that probably will never be completed.
Yeah.
It just kind of seems like it's one of those one and done sort of seasons. So, it's unfortunate that this one will not probably ever get resolved, so we'll never know really what happened. But for the most part, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, right?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one. I liked the cute little adventures they went on. They mixed they were able to mix the like slice of life with the battling, and they had all the cuteness and the power and friendship, and it didn't seem a lot of it didn't seem forced or over the top. Whereas
Yeah,
like it was just kind of all got tied into a good story. And it's very hard for animes to pull this off, I think, because usually
yeah,
one thing always outweighs the other. And when you try to add all these elements, it just seems like something just shouldn't be there. And this one kind of felt like everything worked very it worked so well. I
yeah,
actually very much commemorate them for being able to put it all together. Um, so with that's my thoughts. I will go ahead real quick and just tell you my score. Real quick,
yep,
the animation was pretty good. I like the spells that were casted. Like they weren't overly flashy. I liked how they didn't have to yell the names of the moves and stuff like that. So there's a lot of little things I liked about this anime that they didn't do a lot of over the top cliche things that a lot of these like isekai animes do. So I was really pleasantly surprised with a lot that this anime offered. Considering just looking at the title and looking at the thumbnails, I was not expecting much. So this one actually really exceeded my expectations. It's a solid B. I give it an 8.1 score. I
yeah,
couldn't go any higher. There's just it was very good, but there was nothing that really pushed it over the top. Uh, I felt like I felt like for the most part, it was one of those ones where I didn't feel like there was a full connected story where like if I watched episode 2, I can then go to episode 9 and feel like I didn't miss a whole lot because it just seemed like each episode was like their own little like adventure, which is not bad. Like it's fine when animes do that, but I feel like that's what lowered the score for me too because I usually like a overarching story for my anime.
mm,
Again, I know it's not sometimes their fault, but the story also didn't really conclude. So that's kind of another thing that lowered the score for me. The music wasn't anything special to really write home about. The opening song was called Smile Skill, and the ending song was Genzai Banzai. So again, they were okay. Of course, they worked for what the anime was, but they weren't anything spectacular. So that's another reason. Those are the few reasons why I didn't really that's why I lowered my score. And another big reason why I ended up lowering my score is I really don't like when anime is like, oh, no one can die, sort of thing. Like, there were characters who probably should have died in this anime. And I get it, it's an anime about like an all girl group. More it's more cutesy on how they do
yeah,
things, and I get it, they didn't want to really show death because this is probably geared more towards
yeah,
females than a male audience, so I understand that
mhm,
point too. But there's some times in my opinion where more anime need to have deaths. That's just how I like that's just how I view it. So yeah, those are just some reasons why I end up giving it 8.8. But it is very good. It shocked me, and I could definitely see myself one day maybe going back and seeing like watching this again. So I'm curious on now that I had my 10-minute thought. I'm curious on where you rated it, Maple, and if you would watch this again.
yeah. So yeah, it's good. Okay, that's it, everyone. See you next.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, again, like you said, it kind of took me by surprise a little bit throughout it, especially when you see, like I said early on, with seeing that it was more of a younger cast, you do expect it to be a little bit more juvenile, and they didn't get that feel throughout it. Like, there was a lot of funny moments, and I was laughing out a lot through a lot of this. Like I said, I enjoyed there wasn't, like, the too over the top fan service stuff that usually goes along with a lot of these female cast trope ones. Um and I really enjoyed that there wasn't a whole lot of that. Um, like you said, I do enjoy the way that they did the whole power friendship thing where it was more them working together and it wasn't like just, oh, let's all together do that one attack and throw all the one attack together because we're all friends and friends can do it. Like, there wasn't, like, too much of that. Like, again, I like their teamwork and their progression, that they showed. I really enjoy the art style. I like the background. I like a lot of the character designs. Again, I thought it was just really well done the way that they kinda paced it out. Like you said, there was a little bit to it, again, with the no ending to the story. Um, I get the barely connecting, like you said, especially realistically, it's only, like, the last 2 that really kinda showcase the fact that it's any kind of, like, real connection. Throughout the majority of it, there really isn't. But, yeah, overall, it was still really good. I give it, like you said, about the same, about 8.1, 8.2, is kinda in and around where I felt with it, and, yeah, I definitely will probably end up watching this again.
That's funny. Here we go again, where we are just almost right on the nose with the same
I know.
score. We do this all the time, and it is so funny. So,
But, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this week's episode, or
yeah, this
today's
is
episode.
yeah. So, yeah, when this episode comes out, we should actually have some other special things coming up on our socials and stuff. So definitely keep an eye out for some of our smaller projects that are be going to start coming out this month. We hope you all enjoy that. If you really like what we're doing, we would like if you subscribed and gave us a follow on wherever you are finding this podcast. Or maybe if you really, really enjoy it, maybe you can tell your friends about it and share and stuff like that. So we really appreciate all the listens that we are getting. So uh we have actually been pleasantly surprised with what we have gotten so far in the first few months of
Yeah.
this podcast existence. So yeah, did you want to say anything else before we jump out of here?
No, that's pretty much it. Again, just appreciate everything, guys. Again, like, follow, share, comment. We really enjoy any kind of engagement. We're really kind of excited to kind of hear from everyone. If you like us, don't like us, kind of share all your thoughts with us. We're hoping for any kind of feedback. Again, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on TikTok, Instagram. Again, just kind of keep an eye out, like, follow, share, do all that fun stuff. Again, until next time, next episode, Maple out.
Matane!